Guys, as you know, we have Ayush Shekhar here. He's a Flutter developer, mentor, speaker. He has spoken on multiple events, including GDG, DevFest, and he's also the creator of Hash Connect. He has a YouTube channel. Do check that out, Flutter Create. And yeah, welcome Ayush again.
Thanks,
I will
Aditya.
hand over the
Thanks for
mic to
reaching
you.
out. Yeah,
Oh,
and
you're
thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. We're really happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, all of you. I mean, apart from you and me, there are 39 other people who have joined us today on this Sunday evening. And in the middle of this rainy season, where most probably it would be raining outside your houses, and there would be a sweet cold breeze outside, and you will want to sit there and do something which is not related to computers. But then again, you are here with us and trying to do something productive for yourself to add value to yourself. So, yeah, I mean, it's amazing that you are willing to put in an effort and spend time with, for yourself and with yourself. That is really nice. So, yeah, coming to Flutter. So, since all of you have participated in this boot camp, I'm guessing all of you are aware of what Flutter is and why you should go with Flutter. But since I have a presentation and I really do not have anything else on that presentation apart from the fact that what is Flutter and why is Flutter better than anything else and why you should definitely give it a go. I will definitely show it to you because, dude, I made it. So let me just quickly share my screen. And Aditya, please tell me when my screen is visible.
Sure.
I think
Yes,
it's
your
visible
screen
now.
is clear. Yes, it's clear.
Okay, so yeah, I also have the school developer student clubs template for presentations, which was given to me by another DSC. So I thought of reusing it over here. And yeah, today we'll be talking about the potential of Flutter and how this is the start of an amazing journey for you as a budding developer, right? And one thing before we start, please never, ever, ever refer to yourself as a junior developer or as a fresher because that when you do that you automatically assume that you are inferior to someone else, which you should never do. Please do not do that. If you're not sure of what to call yourself, just call yourself a developer. And if you want to if you are enthusiastic about Flutter, you can call yourself a Flutter developer, but please do not call yourself a junior developer or a fresher developer or something like that. I do not like those terms, and you should definitely not use them. So let's go about this journey. Yeah. Also, first things first, because marketing is very important. My Twitter handle is ayushshekhar17. Go ahead and check it out whenever, not right now, after this session. If you do take screenshots and everything, do tag me. Also, today we are hosting this event with DSC MEC. So I am guessing this is your Twitter handle. I am pretty sure this is it.
Yes,
So
this is
do
our
do
Twitter handle.
yeah, do mention them also because they have put in a lot of effort to create this community and bring all of you together on this Sunday evening and bring put together this boot camp, which, trust me, it's not easy. So please do tweet about us. So what is Flutter? Is that whale sounds? Is that something that is very unique? Is that black magic? What is it? um, Flutter is, in essence, it can be referred to as two things. It is a UI framework which you can use to very easily create, beautiful UIs or user interfaces, and which are really performant. That is, the UIs that you create with Flutter will always render at 60 FPS to 120 FPS. I mean, the minimum is 60 FPS. So it doesn't matter the device you're using it on. It doesn't matter, the whatever the specifications of a device is. If Flutter is able to run on that device, it will perform amazingly. You will not see any lags or any other hindrances because Flutter uses something that is called Flutter uses uh, what is that? Flutter uses a 2D rendering engine in the background. That is the Flutter engine, which is a part of the framework itself, that is the backbone of the engine. It is actually a 2D rendering engine which uses the GPU to render all the frames on your screen. So each and every frame that you see on your screen, all the animations, all the paint, UI paint that you see on your screen will be rendered very smoothly and in a very performant way. Also, Flutter is the most versatile UI framework out there because as of now, as of today, you can build mobile applications or you can build Flutter applications for the mobile platforms, that is Android, iOS. You can build Flutter applications for the web. You can build Flutter applications for the desktop platform, that is Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. And all of those three are now, in technical preview in their pre-alpha stages. And you can definitely go ahead and build them. You can also release them on the respective stores. So, for example, you can actually bundle or create a release build for a Windows application and put it on the Microsoft Store. You can do the same for Mac App Store, and you can do the same for Linux as well. You can put it on the Snap Store for Ubuntu users. So you can do that right now. Also, you can create Flutter applications for Android TV, embedded devices, watches, etc., etc. So Flutter is very versatile in that way. And this slide in itself gives you the potential of Flutter because Flutter, the range that Flutter has, it is definitely, pretty certain that eventually Flutter is going to become the future of application development in itself. Because right now, let's just consider a very popular application, Spotify, right? So Spotify currently has an iOS app, it has an Android app, it has a website, it has a desktop app, and it also runs on Apple Watches, Android TV, Apple TV, all of those platforms Spotify is targeting. But right now, what Spotify engineering has to do is that it has to have different teams for all of these platforms. So Spotify as a company has to, fund all of these different platforms. It has to put in efforts. It has to squash bugs for all of these different platforms independently. And there is a lot of effort and energy and resources being spent that way. But Flutter eliminates that to an extent where it becomes really productive and profitable for companies. That is why you will see that Flutter is being adopted very rapidly by new and emerging technologies and new startups. The reason why big companies are hesitant to shift their entire code base to Flutter is because a lot of big companies, a lot of MNCs already have millions of lines of code in their existing code bases, which has been written for all of these native platforms. They have engineering teams in place, they have a system in place, they have that entire protocol in place, which will have to be disrupted in order to move to Flutter. That is why you will see that a lot of big companies will not actually go ahead and transition to Flutter. Okay, so that is there. But given that, you will see that whenever these big companies have to come up with new projects, so let's say if they're coming up with um, another app, or let's say if they're coming up with a complete refresh of their application or something else, then Flutter actually comes into the picture, and we have literally seen people doing this. Alibaba has done this with their secondary, not their, I don't think their no, their primary e-commerce mobile application is not built with Flutter, but they have a secondary application that is currently built with Flutter, and it has around 50 million users. The bank of somewhere is using Flutter. In fact, Dream11 in India, they also have a secondary mobile application, not their primary application, but the secondary application which they have used to build, and which they have used Flutter to build it. So all of these things are happening, and people are moving to Flutter and people are regarding Flutter as their first choice as they move forward. So yeah, that is actually the potential of Flutter. And if I had to, I would sum it up over there. But because I have to speak, so let's go. And what Flutter uses behind the scene, the language that Flutter is written in is called Dart. It is a modern language that the syntax of which is very similar to modern Java, and this was created by Google in-house primarily for their web use. And much before Flutter came into the picture, Dart was being used along with Angular, and there was something called Angular Dart that I don't know how many people use it now, but a lot of people used it before. So if you didn't want to, write JavaScript or TypeScript, you could always go with Angular Dart for creating web applications. So it has been around for quite a while. Google has created this in-house. First of all, they were using it internally, but then they open sourced it. And Dart is also open source and Flutter is also open source. What open source means is that it is the source code of the Dart language itself, and the Flutter engine, Flutter framework, and everything related to Flutter is right now available publicly on GitHub. And anyone, either you or me or Aditya or anyone, can actually go ahead on the repository. You can create issues, you can create a pull request, you can contribute to the development of that project. You can ask questions, you can raise concerns, you can do whatever you want. So in fact, you can take the source code from there. You can modify it, publish it on your own. I mean, given the license, you will have to check the license of the code first. And you can modify it and you can create a better version of Dart for yourself. You're free to do so, completely free to do so, right? In fact, I don't know if you have heard about Fuchsia. Let's go back to the chat once. Um, how many of you have heard about what Fuchsia is? Do you know about Fuchsia? You can type in the chat. I'm looking over here. Okay, one person knows. Two, yeah, heard of it. No. Okay, so yeah, George guessed it right. It is actually an operating system that Google is coming up with, and it is in fact an open source operating system. Fuchsia is the literal meaning of fuchsia is actually it's a shade of pink, slightly leaning towards purple. It is actually a color shade, but fuchsia is actually the next generation mobile operating system that Flutter is building, that Google is building, and Flutter will be the official technology you will be using to create mobile applications for the same. Right now, if you do Flutter, and whenever in the bootcamp, if you will be checking the platform on which your app is running, then you will make use of the platform enum on you will be using the platform enum in the Dart.io file. That will give you a lot of values. You will get platform.is Android, platform.is iOS, platform. Is Windows, is Linux, etc., etc. And in that you will also see platform.is Fuchsia. And in fact, Fuchsia is also now in developer preview. It is also open source. You can go ahead to fuchsia.dev. It is Fuschia, Fuchsia. I think I spelled it correctly. If I didn't, just Google it. Fuchsia.dev, and you will be able to see this documentation, the developer documentation, which will help you get started. So you can, if you are on Linux or Mac, I don't know about Windows, you can actually go ahead and clone the repository that they have provided, and you can build Fuchsia and run it on an Android emulator on your laptop. So that is also possible. There are people who are doing it. So yeah, that's quite fascinating. And it's actually going to eventually replace Android. All the Android apps will still run on the Fuchsia OS, but we are guessing, it's still speculation, but we are guessing that it's eventually going to replace Android because let's face it, I mean, Android I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, W, X, Y, Z, then what, right? So yeah, that's Fuchsia, and Flutter will be the official technology for creating apps for that. And let's move on. Okay, so some statistics. As per the Flutter team actually does a quarterly survey, and then whatever data they receive in their surveys, they actually put it forward in public domain. So as per the last survey results that came out, 2 million plus developers had used Flutter in the last quarter, and that is huge. That is insane. That is huge. Okay, and I don't think I need to mention it, but Indians are the in India, Flutter is used the most. So Flutter is being used the most in India. The Indian developers actually top the charts when it comes to developers using Flutter. So yeah, go India. And apart from that, day before yesterday, we also crossed 100,000 stars on GitHub. So congratulations to every one of you, because now since you have become a part of this bootcamp and you have shown interest in Flutter, so the Flutter community actually welcomes you with open arms. We crossed 100,000 stars on GitHub. Interestingly, to put that, sorry, yeah. So to put that into perspective for you, 100,000 stars actually puts Flutter right in between Linux, the Linux operating system source code that is open source, right in between Linux and VS Code. Sorry, guys, just a second. Yeah, so to put this into perspective, the 100,000 plus stars in GitHub actually puts Flutter right, right above Linux and right below VS Code in the list of the most popular, GitHub repositories. The repository at the top right now is Vue.js. It has around 172,000 stars, if I'm not wrong. React is at second place, and that is how it goes. And Flutter is growing very rapidly. I mean, Flutter is I think the fastest of all the top 10 repositories that are above it to reach the 100,000 mark. I do not know if that fact is actually correct. You can go ahead and cross check it. But Flutter is very rapidly growing and it is very popular. Now, this was the light side, that is the bright side. But let me also take you to the dark side of Flutter, because that is very important, and that is something that you will be facing once you start creating, more complex projects in Flutter. In GitHub, if a repository has more than 5,000 issues open, then it will say 5,000 plus. I started creating Flutter applications back in 2018. Since then, up until this point today, I have never seen that tag going out from there. It has always been 5,000 plus. So, although Flutter is so popular, Flutter is actually stable, you can go ahead and create amazing applications with Flutter. There still remains scope for development, scope for improvement. Also, the issues number in Flutter GitHub repository is so extravagantly high because it is really easy to actually go ahead and create an issue in the Flutter repository. I mean, you go and move forward with your development journey, you will see that there are a lot of open source repositories wherein if you want to create an issue, they will give you an issue template, and if you do not strictly abide by it, they will not allow you to create an issue. I mean, they would ask you so many questions that you will get irritated and you won't feel like posting an issue anymore. So you won't. But in Flutter, that is not the case. They do give you a template to better describe what you are facing and what your problem is, and so that they can assist you better. But then again, people just create random issues also. There are a lot of random issues in these 7,000 issues which are open right now on Flutter as well, which people have just created for the sake of it and never even bothered to come back to it. And just because of the sheer number of these issues, sometimes they are just open and not addressed. But on the other side, there is a positive, a ray of hope. That is the number 34,952. I updated this right before this call started. And this is something that actually gives you hope. Now, the Flutter team in itself is actually a very small team inside of Google. There are not, no 100 developers are working on Flutter. They have a team of maximum 10-15 people who work on Flutter and who are actually the core engineers of Flutter, and they are the only ones who are actually getting paid to work on Flutter. They do right now, so they have a lot of collaborations and everything with, in order to help them better triage these issues and help them address these issues. But Flutter was created and then maintained for a very long time by only those people. So can you imagine that only a handful of people and addressing so many issues? It is not possible, right? It is completely impossible. I mean, virtually impossible. Yes, definitely. So, how are so many issues closed? How are thousands of pull requests merged into Flutter? How is Flutter so popular among the developers if it had so many problems? The reason for that is the Flutter community. The tech community behind an open source project like Flutter actually plays the most vital role in making Flutter what it is today. If Flutter is so powerful, if it has 100,000 stars on GitHub, if people actually want to, start with Flutter just like you all, and then want to continue and make a career in Flutter just like me, then that is only because of the community of Flutter on GitHub, on Stack Overflow, on Twitter. People will be there to help you. I mean, I'm not saying that only me. There are a lot of amazing people who, for nothing in return, will actually help you a lot. But then again, I must clarify it, because what has been happening in the past few months and in the past year or so is that in every session, I say this, that the Flutter community is very vibrant, very nice. People will be there to help you. And sometimes what people understand, what people attending that session understand is that they can simply send a problem and people will, give them the code for it. See, a developer's time is the most invaluable asset a company has, an organization has, or as a person the developer has. Your time is everything, not just when you are a professional and when you have an hourly rate and when you have when you code professionally for money. Not only then, your time as a learner, as a budding developer, is exceptionally invaluable. Please, please, please value your time. Do not keep on getting into petty projects just for the sake of exposure, or just for the sake of helping. That is something that people will not do. What I mean by an active and vibrant community is that people are there to give you a direction, and if they have faced a similar situation before, they are there to guide you. I mean, I can give you an example personally. On an average, every single day I get at least two messages. I'm not exaggerating. On an average, every single day I get at least two messages from two completely, different people, two complete strangers to me, who come asking for help. Now, most of the times, 80 to 90% of the times, the people who approach me for help do not even try to Google the problem once. Do not try to put in an effort from their sides. Because see, if you give me a problem and if I faced it before, I can give you a solution right away. But if I haven't faced it before, and if even if I faced it before, if I've forgotten it, then I will also have to Google it, right? That is, I have to put an effort from my side. And this is valid for every member of the community. For me, for you, for everyone. If you face a problem, you will have to try to debug it by Googling it, by searching on Stack Overflow, etc., etc. Right? So 90% of those messages that I receive are from people who just ask random questions. So for example, if someone will ask me how to develop backend in Flutter. Now, dude, what is meant by backend in Flutter? What are you referring to when you say backend in Flutter? Are you referring to local data management? Are you referring to, remote data storage for Flutter applications? What are you referring to? See, I do not expect people who are just beginning with their development journeys to know all of these things. But if you put in an honest effort from your side, you will definitely come to know about what you want to do. And once you have that specific thing, and then when you ask an informed question, then the person on the other side who is supposed to answer your question will also know that yes, this person has put in an effort and this question is specific to what he's or she is trying to achieve. Then, as a person who is being asked the question to, I will also feel that yes, since this person has put in an effort, I should, if I have time, I should definitely help him or her out because that is the way to go. That will, because if I don't, then he or she might lose confidence in Flutter and might be closer to giving up. So please remember that whenever you're learning Flutter and when you're going to be asking questions, then first try to Google the problem once, twice, thrice, four times, five times, because that initial part where you do not understand something and still you put in an effort to debug, that is where the learning happens. The learning does not happen in sessions like the one we are in right now. Learning does not happen in a boot camp. Learning does not happen while you are watching tutorials. Learning only happens when you are doing something that you do not know the solution to and you are finding it on your own. That is the only part where learning happens, and I have seen that time and again. I've experienced that. And that is, if you have to take away only one thing from this session, take this away, because this is the only invaluable thought that I can give you. Cool है, okay, so बहुत ज्ञान होगा. I've given you a lot of learnings. Let's move forward with the presentation. So why you should be using Flutter? Because it is fast, it is smooth, and it is easy to use. That's almost it. And if I'm assuming a lot of you would not have done native Android development before. But if you have heard some jokes about Android development, it would be that in Android Studio, you have to spend countless hours of time waiting for Gradle build to happen. And that is something which you will see in Flutter also if you open that Android project in Android Studio, not the Flutter project in itself, but if you open the Android part of the Flutter project in Android Studio, then you will see that the Gradle will keep on building, 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 and you will have to wait for it to finish before you can actually go ahead and run the application. So this is something that no developer ever prefers. You would not want to waste your time because, as I said, your time is invaluable and it is the most precious asset you have. So yeah, and this is not a transition, this is not an error. This is actually a blank screen, and this sums up the entire session, the entire presentation, because this is a blank screen and this exactly shows what Flutter has in store for you. Flutter will give you a blank canvas and the paints through which you can create your masterpiece. This is a blank canvas on which you can pour your creativity and do whatever you want. In fact, I think Aditya knows me from the DSC OMG event, right, Aditya?
Yes, yes, I met you during that event.
Exactly. So during DSC OMG, I was giving a talk on building complex layouts with Flutter, right? If I'm
Right.
not mistaken,
You
yeah.
were live coding an app, and that
Yeah,
really
so
amazed me.
I was, the one thing that I said at the beginning of that session was that with Flutter, when you're doing Flutter, it is not about if you can do it. Please play, please pay close attention to my words. It is not about if you can do it. It is about how to do it. Because possible to, hey, it is definitely possible. You will be able to do it. You just have to figure out how. So I mean, I'm only speaking about UI, not anything else. So if you have to create you know, a visual experience that will delight your users, definitely you can do it. I mean, right now, I am at a point, not boasting or showing off, but yeah, right now I'm at a point wherein a designer, whenever we have front-end design meetings in my company, the designer tells me, Ayush, I have created this. I am like, okay, because by the time the designer is showing me the design in my head, I can translate that into Flutter code, and it won't take me, I mean, even with very complex designs, I can very easily do them in Flutter because now I think in terms of Flutter code. So that is something, that is a stage which will come for you if you wholeheartedly put in an honest effort with Flutter, and UI will be a breeze. UI will definitely be a breeze. And because you will be able to create UI so fast, you will be able to devote more time and more attention to the more important aspects of your application, which are actually the logic and the overall experience that the user is having, right? And since creating UI with Flutter, creating performant and smooth UI with Flutter is so easy and so smooth and so fast, you will be able to rapidly, make revisions, create prototypes, and do work that would otherwise take you hours in minutes, right? Because Flutter has, I mean, you will know it once you in the bootcamp. Moving forward, as you create UI in Flutter, you will actually come to know how easy it is. So this is the potential of Flutter. It's a white screen, it's a blank canvas, and it is now up to you as to what extent you want to take your masterpiece to, right? So yeah, thank you for having me. And also you will see that the designation over here is different because I forgot to update it. Sorry. I am no longer a backend developer at Crossplay. I'm now a front-end engineer at Frontro. So sorry for that. But that was all from my side. This was the potential of Flutter for you. Also, before we go back to the call, I would definitely like to market myself. So if you want to reach out, you can on LinkedIn, you can go ahead and search for Ayush Shekhar. I will show up definitely. But I do not prefer to use LinkedIn. So you can go ahead and reach out to me on Twitter. You can find me over here. Um, just go to twitter.com/ayushshekhar17 as I mentioned earlier also. Also follow DSC MEC if you're on Twitter. And if you're not on Twitter, what are you doing? You should be on Twitter, right? So go ahead and create your Twitter account and then follow us on Twitter. And because this is the place where we continuously share updates about Flutter. I share my projects, videos, etc., etc. Also, I have a YouTube channel about Flutter. We recently hit about 1,000 subscribers. I think now it would be around 1,100. Yeah, so almost close to 1,100 subscribers. I created this back in 2018, but then didn't update it up until recently. I try to, create videos whenever I get time, which is very rare. So that is why you will not see a lot of videos on this channel, but you will see some, whatever videos you see, those will add value to you definitely. If you want to learn Flutter, there are some channels which you should definitely follow, which are all subscribed over here. You can follow Field Stacks. You can follow for once you have had a basic foundation in Flutter, then when you are moving into some more complicated topics like state management, how to architect your Flutter application, at that point, Field Stacks will come to your rescue. They have some really nice, very beginner friendly uh, tutorials on how to get started with architecting your Flutter applications easily. So go ahead and follow that. Also, Fireship is an amazing channel. There will be a lot of resources about Flutter. Coder is, in my opinion, the best Flutter channel out there because this literally has all the content you would ever need for Flutter. They have complete courses spanning across tens or 20 hours. So these things are a bit more complicated. Once you have had a basic foundation in Flutter, then you can go ahead and subscribe to these channels and upskill yourself once you have had a basic idea. Also, the talk would not be complete if I didn't mention Pawan Kumar's MTech Viral because this is the channel, this is the person, Pawan Kumar, if you do not know him, he was the first GDE, the Google Developer Expert from Flutter in India, the first from India. And he has created hundreds of videos on Flutter. His channel is filled with Flutter videos. You will find some other cool stuff over here as well. So do check this out as well. All of these resources will help you in your Flutter journey. And yeah, if you have any other doubts, you can definitely reach out to me on Twitter. And that was it from my side. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot, Ayush. That was an amazing session. I'm pretty sure all of us are really inspired by your work and actually what you do for Flutter and the community. And I hope that everyone here will be able to reach a level like that and contribute to Flutter, be a contributor, involve in the community more, develop their own apps, develop their vision into apps. That was an amazing session, and especially I do also agree with Fireship.io. That channel is a really good one. It has videos which are limited to about 100 seconds, I guess. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely.
So do check those channels out. And if you have any doubts, do reach out to. We have a Discord channel, which I guess which all of you are part of. Otherwise, we'll put the links in the chats as well. You can
I
join
mean, you
there.
can ask the questions now also. If you have any questions
Yeah. If
regarding my current session, then feel free to ask them right now. If any questions, I mean, anything related to anything that I said or anything that I didn't say, whatever, if you have any question, I would be very happy to answer it right now. And if even if you get a question afterwards or you are too hesitant or shy to ask right now, that's completely all right. You can reach out to me on Twitter and ask your question. No problem. Take care. I think we do not have any questions right now.
yes, I don't think there's any questions. Okay. Uh, do you think Kotlin or Java is gonna just
Nothing is
die
going to
out?
die out. No, no, nothing is going to die out. Nothing is going to get obliterated from history or something like that. Everything will still be there. I mean, come on, dude. jQuery and PHP are still there. I mean, people can laugh however they want or treat these languages however they want. They can make any number of jokes, any n number of jokes. But the thing is that these languages still exist and still are very important. There are people still recruiting for these languages. So every language, every technology has a special place, has a significance in itself, and no technology is going to die out just like that. People are still going to use it. It's just about the range and the popularity that differs. Right now, Flutter is all the rage. In 5 years, you don't know, right? So do not get too attached to a technology. Definitely exploit and take advantage of the traction that you get out of a technology. But as a developer, there is something that you should definitely learn and abide by, is that technology is just the tool. I mean, it is literally just the tool, because Flutter will give you a very pretty neat developer experience, ease of use and all of that. But everything you do in Flutter can also be done in React Native. Everything you do in React Native can also be done in Xamarin. Everything you do in Xamarin can also be done in native platforms. So there are multiple avenues, multiple channels available to accomplish the same thing. But as a developer, we go by the tool that is, that makes us more productive, and that is Flutter for me and for a lot of people right now. So yeah, no technology is gonna just die away. As a developer, we have to learn to adapt. That's it.
Also, I guess many of them will have a doubt that is Flutter just to create user interfaces. Because
No, no, it is
that's it.
definitely not just
Yeah.
to create their user interfaces. I mean, see, if you regard Flutter as a technology just for creating user interfaces, then I mean, you are ignoring a very important part of user interfaces. User interfaces is actually, it's not just the static widgets that you see on the screen. Front end, or because I'm right now working as a front end engineer, so I can tell you that my job is not just to create UIs. I do not just create static components on the screen. As a front end engineer or as a Flutter mobile developer, your role will be to manage experiences that that people have, that your users are going to have. You have to craft those experiences from scratch. You have to manage the data on every screen, sometimes on every part of a screen, right? So all of that is actually going to be done using Flutter. It is not just for creating some static design components on the screen. Definitely not. You will actually be creating full user flows and full experiences inside your application. So calling it just UI is unjustified and wrong. Uh, can we copy the UI designs from Pinterest or Insta? Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? But are you saying that you can, you know, directly translate them or convert them into code? I don't think that's possible as of now. There are tools that will, create your Figma designs or Adobe XD designs in directly into Flutter code, but that is currently not possible for images. If you're saying that you can create the UI designs that you see on Pinterest or Dribble or Instagram on in Flutter, that is, if you can translate those designs in Flutter, definitely possible. I mean, there would be a lot of videos on YouTube as well, wherein people would be cloning different UI designs that they see on Dribble or Instagram or Behance or websites like these, where designers share their designs, and people would be creating, Flutter code for that. So you can check out those videos; they're actually pretty nice, and yeah, that can be done. Also, acha, which is the best state management solution? That is the most heated debate in the Flutter community. It actually really depends on what your use case is and how you're comfortable. How you're comfortable. I have always used Provider because I feel that it is the simplest state management solution out there. And if you divide your app properly and if you architect your app properly, then any state management solution you use will be equally effective. But just for the sake of simplicity and how beginner friendly it is, I started using Provider and I have been using Provider ever since. So yeah, but right now in my current company, we use MobX. That is something else. That is also really simple, but it relies heavily on code generation. I don't know if any one of you would know about code generation. So let's just skip that for now. That those are some advanced stuff. But yeah, you can definitely go ahead and use Provider. That's really easy and yeah, that's simple to use as well. First, we need vision, right, and inspiration. How our UI should be. I mean, if you are the developer, if you are the whole and soul of your project, then definitely you would need vision and inspiration. But in a more professional setting, like the way how we work in our current company, or in most professional settings, you would have a UI designer who would create user interfaces using a design tool like Figma or Adobe XD, and they would give you a design specification along with those designs that you will then be able to look at and then translate into code yourself. So that is in a more professional setting, but definitely when you're doing personal projects and when you are the whole and soul of your project and whole and soul of your application, then you will have to, visualize as to how your application should look, how the user should feel when they, browse through your application, and what is the experience that you're offering to the user. So yeah, that is something that you will have to do on your own for your personal projects, or if you have a friend who has a keen interest in design and aspires to become a designer, then you can collaborate with that person and you can help each other out. So yeah, which are the best backend developer programs that can be used if you want to develop our app further? Okay, so if you want to create a backend for your application, there are a number of ways in which you can do that. So essentially what a backend is, that you have a remote database in which you can store information related to the users, related to your application, and you have some services like push notifications, etc., that you run using your backend, right? That is essentially what a backend is. So there are multiple ways that you can approach this. Either you can create a custom backend for your application. That can be done in the form of an API that you can create. API is also a very broad topic. But if you want to create a simple RESTful API that in which you have endpoints that you can, basically make a request to and get a response from, then you should, I mean, an easy way to do that would be if you are comfortable with JavaScript or TypeScript, then you can go ahead and learn Node.js, and using Node.js and something called Express, which is a JavaScript framework for Node, you can create your own RESTful APIs for Flutter. You can create your own backends. You can deploy your databases, etc., etc., using using Node as the API, and you can create your own endpoints. Then in your Flutter application, you would just have to make HTTP requests to your API and get to your API endpoints and get the responses back. Simple as that. It's not that simple, but yeah, if you want to explore RESTful APIs or backend development, you to start with, you can definitely go ahead with Node. If you are more of a Python person, then there is Flask for you. There is a framework, a Python framework called Flask. You can use it to create your APIs. If you are more into TypeScript, then something called Dino has now come up from the creator of Node.js, and that is something that you can also use. So yeah, there are multiple options, but these are all custom solutions that you will have to write code for. A second option can be if you use a backend as a service. So all of this stuff, when you create your own backend API and when you deploy your own servers, then that is actually complicated stuff. If you're targeting to release your app, to the world that is in production, then if you need an easier way out, that is, if you want to spend more time on your Flutter front end application and just want a ready solution for your app, then there are certain services which are called backend as a service solutions. The most popular one for Flutter is Firebase. You can use Firebase offers an array of different products that you can use, and it is free to use and start with. So you get the Cloud Firestore, in which you can store your data. You can also have a document storage up to 5 GB. That is a Firebase storage. You can send push notifications using Firebase Cloud Messaging, etc., etc. So that is one of the most popular backends for Flutter applications. I have used it for countless applications. You can go ahead and check out Firebase. If you are more into AWS, or if you are fascinated by AWS and Amazon, then just like Firebase, Amazon has its own serverless backend as a service solution that is called AWS Amplify. They have also recently added official support for Flutter. So you can check that out as well. So there are multiple avenues and multiple channels and options. You can go ahead and explore all of these. But if you ask me, in order to start with, and something that is really powerful and very beginner friendly, I would go with Firebase because I've used it a lot of times. Anything else? If I'm the heart and soul of the whole program, what is the timeline to just develop a front end project? See, um, this is not an informed question. Definitely not an informed question. The reason for that is that you haven't given any use case in this question. You need to be certain. If you are asking about the timeline, it is very specific to the developer who is creating that application. So for example, if I am going to be creating an application and I have a proper specification document and or a proper outline of what I want to achieve and how I want to achieve it, then I can do it in a very short span of time. But if someone who is approaching a project or starting to do a project and is also learning in the process, then it will take you definitely more time. So for example, if I have to create a to-do app, I can do it, let's say, in 2 to 3 hours, the complete to-do app, including authentication, remote database storage, everything. I can do it in 3 hours. But if someone who isn't aware of all of these technologies is also going to learn on the way, then it will vary. Also, for professionals also, it varies depending on which part of that project you are most comfortable with. But then try to complete all of your projects. If you undertake a project, then please try to complete it within a targeted amount of time. So for example, if you create a target for yourself of, let's say, a week or 2 weeks, then please try to complete that project within a week or 2 weeks. Because if you overreach, or if you exceed that time limit that you have set for yourself, then what happens is that you begin to slack off, and that project will never get completed. Trust me, I am the king of lost and incomplete projects. So I have started a lot of side projects, and they've never been completed. So prepare a timeline for yourself. Prepare a timeline for yourself, and no, the question did actually make sense, but you have to be informed about what you are trying to achieve. Because see, what happens is that if you do not have a clear idea of what you are trying to achieve, then what will happen is that you will get lost in your way, right? Because as professional developers, and as someone who is really, I mean, I have a professional experience of about 2 years doing development. Still, if I take up a project and if I do not have a clear outline and clear idea of where I'm going and what I'm supposed to do, then what will happen is I will definitely leave the project in between, or it will never be completed, or it will not be up to the mark. So before beginning with a project, note down whatever you want to achieve through that project. What is the kind of work that you're going to do, and then prepare a timeline accordingly. Set goals for yourself and set realistic goals. I mean, if when you're not sure, give yourself an extra day or two, but don't set very strict goals for yourself. Like, for example, I have my scope of my project is this big, but I am going to be completing this within 1 or 2 days. It doesn't happen, and when it doesn't happen, you will be putting undue pressure on yourself, which is not good for you as a learner. Definitely not good for you. So yeah, all of that is there. Anything else? Any other questions?
I guess that's all. Oh, there's one more question. Okay, same life.
Chalo, okay.
Everything. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, I guess it's time already, and must be busy with his work as well. So
Yeah, it's Sunday, bro.
okay, it's fine.
Today is
Okay,
Sunday.
cool,
I
cool,
I
cool,
do
cool.
not have official work today, but yeah, I mean, like, we should not take more time for all the
Definitely.
people because it's a Sunday evening,
Yeah.
afternoon.
Yeah. So I thank you a lot. I can't thank you enough actually for doing this since it's our first session and we are just starting up. So thanks a lot, Ayush. Looking forward to have more sessions with you.
Yeah, cool, definitely. Why not? And also, guys, everyone who has joined and everyone who hasn't, I mean, if you know people who haven't joined today, and then definitely relay this one message, one very short message from my side. DSC or Development Student Clubs is actually a very interesting and a very innovative initiative by Google. And people like Aditya, who actually apply for becoming a DSC lead and taking an initiative to open these clubs and communities inside their college, are actually the gems of the college, because this is something, DSC is something that I did not have in my college, and because of that I missed out on a lot of opportunities. People who have these clubs and communities in colleges can actually bring speakers in, bring create boot camps, create communities, help you with your doubts, help you with your bugs, create an environment for learning and growing with everyone, taking, upskilling everyone at the same time. This is some, or the most important part is that you can actually go ahead and do group projects. People with the same skill set just like you will be there to help you out and collaborate with you. This is something that is invaluable. This is something that is very precious, and you are very privileged that you are getting this. A lot of people do not get this, right? And they have to put in double or triple the amount of effort to achieve the same goals that you will be able to achieve in the like in a single effort. So please do not let this go, and please take very good advantage of this opportunity, of this DSC club that you have created. Continue the legacy. uh, Even when Aditya passes out, you can definitely go ahead and apply for becoming the DSC lead of your club and community if you're very active and want to, and continue this club inside your college, because clubs like these will actually help you grow faster and upskill yourself, because the job market, I'm telling you, is ruthless. It is ruthless, and if you do not add value to yourself, you it will be very difficult for you. So, and on the positive side, I do not want to scare you, but on the positive side, if you actually spend time on yourself, it will be a cakewalk for you. You will be standing as a graduate with multiple offers in your hand, and people will want to pay you money for the work, that you are able to do. So bring yourself on to that platform, to that place wherein something like this happens to you, and thank Aditya and all the people who are actually putting in an effort to do all of this for you. This is very precious. Feel privileged, feel proud, and also take responsibility to help them, and take full advantage of all of these communities and all of these sessions and events that they organize.
Definitely, thanks a lot for those kind words, Ayush. I actually urge people to, come up with projects which we would be able to help them with. So, any projects you guys have, definitely approach us. We'll definitely give you all the guidance and support you need. And also, I sorry to interrupt. There is one more question from Naina.
Are
She
there any
asked that
recommended ways to integrate AR core in a Flutter application? Um, I think there is. Let me quickly Google this up. Yeah. So if you just Google AR Core Flutter, you will see that there is a AR Core Flutter plugin that a member of our community, uh, who goes by the name of Francisco, has created. And there are actually a number of AR plugins available for Flutter. So you can go ahead and check them out. Also, I'm guessing you would need a device that is capable of running AI augmented reality applications in order to test these out. So if you do have that device, then take full advantage of those plugins that have been created for you. Okay, so did I tell you about this? Sorry. Wait, I will just take 2 minutes more because this is something that is
definitely,
very
definitely
essential.
you can,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So that is because this is something that is very essential. I should not have missed this. So, guys, there is a full repository of helpful code available for you. It's at this domain that is very short and very easy to remember. It says pub.dev, pub.dev. It is actually the official Dart plugins and packages repository. Herein, you will find all the different packages and plugins that people have created for Flutter. And whatever, I mean, there is a very good chance that if you need something, then someone has created a plugin or a package for it and published it out there. So, for example, if you need to, let's say, validate a credit card number in your Flutter application, then you will write credit card validate, and this is some shameless marketing, but my package will come up at the top, and then you can just go ahead and include this package by in copying this line and pasting this in your prospect.yaml file that will be there in your Flutter projects. And voila, you will be able to just do this one line, bool is valid is equal to card number. And then when you enter your card number over here, my package will tell you that if it is valid or not. It's as simple as that. And there are a lot of packages that are way more complicated, way more sophisticated, and way more helpful than this package out there for Flutter and for Dart. Like if you're doing some project which is in Dart but not related to Flutter, then also you will find some helpful plugins and packages over there. So, for example, right now, as what was her name? Uh, is the name of the
Naina,
person was the question?
Naina,
Yeah.
Naina.
So you asked the question, right, regarding AR core. So I can just write AR core over here, and it will give me all the AR related packages. So, like for example, this was the plugin which I talked about. This is the Flutter plugin for the AR core SDK. You can read it over here. Flutter plugin for AR core SDK, and using this, you can go ahead and use AR core in your Flutter applications. So do check out this website. It is very helpful. And yeah, that is all. Thank you.
One more thing I would like to add to that point is that if you don't find any package you need and you have developed that particular package for your application, you can definitely submit it on the pub.dev forum, and it will be helpful to a lot more users.
Exactly. I mean, that was the entire idea behind creating that repository. That if you have something that you have created on your own and which was, by default missing in Flutter or missing in pub.dev, and if you have created it on your own, then please, please, please take that extra effort and share it on GitHub and then publish it on pub.dev so that others can, get benefited from it too. Because today, if you help someone else, tomorrow there will be 3, 4, 5, 10 people waiting to help you. So open source cuts both ways. So you have to contribute in order to benefit from other contributions.
Definitely. Are there any more questions? Otherwise, we could wind up the session. Okay, guys. If you have any more questions, please do put it up in the Discord forums. All the mentors there are really active and they are ready to help you. So yeah, we'll wind up the session then. Thank you, guys. I again thank you a lot. I really appreciate you coming here and giving us this wonderful session.
Thank you for having me, and
Definitely.
happy Sunday or whatever is left of it to all of you.
Okay, guys. Okay, guys, do stay safe at home. Don't go out much. And thank you, guys. We'll wind up the session then.
Chalo fir, bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, guys, for attending the session. By the way.